Portbou, a Catalan Memoir, Book 1. Portbou is a village of stairways. From the tunnel that leads out of the village, there are wide, clear flights of steps that tall acacias dapple with sun and shade. All dressed up, my brother and I walk holding my mother's hand without saying a word. She goes down to the village without her wallet, with a house key tied to a hanky, because that way we won't be continually asking her to buy something. I long for the strips of fried potatoes in thin colored paper bags, decorated with 2 little coiled antennae. I cry as we walk back and forth on the Rambla because I want potatoes, and my mother only has the key and the hanky with a knot in her hands. My mother always says that we won't come down ever again. If you leave work on time, you come to meet us. What joy to see you approaching from a distance. You hoist me up and sit me on your shoulders and make me laugh. My brother, at a careful distance, looks at us, and a relieved smile of appreciation is on his lips because you make me happy. Portbou is your village, and it's on the other side of the world. It's different, artificial, with a very short history. There aren't any peasants. The people don't come home from the fields at the end of the day, as in almost all the other small villages. They don't have animals or a piece of land to grow something. Even though the sea is there, it's not a village of fishermen either. And the church of Portbou is not a small, white, maritime hermitage. It's a tall edifice that dominates the village with a neo-Gothic facade. To go there, you have to climb and climb and climb. Portbou is full of guards. Guardia Civil, police, custom officials, railroad workers like you, but full of guards everywhere. They walk in the village in uniform, with guns attached at the waist with their wife and children. In the station next to our house, there are even more. The place is full of Guardia Civil and of armed police, everyone in green and gray. Some, it's true, with my continually passing by on my way to and from school, know me and greet me, but in general they're unapproachable behind the dark glasses they usually wear. I resent them because they impose a language on me that's not mine, the one I speak with you. I never told you, but when I go by them I stick my tongue out at them secretly and laugh. Still, the guns they always have with them frighten me. You are from Portbou, and you are a railroad worker, like your father. You work in Cerbère, in the office at Renfe, and cross the frontier each afternoon on the train. At Renfe, payday is the 26th. Each 26th of the month, when you come home, you religiously take the pay envelope from your pocket and give it to my mother. She heaps the money. The 26th, you both are always happier. La Casa Gran is a building of red stone that is at the entrance to the village along the road coming in from France. The railroad workers' children play outside under the plane trees in front of its staircase. One hears the children shouting, and the wires in front of the building are always full of drying clothes. You love each other in the Casa Gran, in those little attic rooms underneath the roof, and you give me life. You don't know me yet, but you love me. No sooner am I born than you have to look for another job. You have the doubtful privilege of being the first in the village with 2 full-time jobs. But I'm also the cause for a change in our housing, which is a good thing. They grant you an apartment near the train station where the railroad workers who don't live in the Casa Gran have lodgings. In the station apartments, the ceilings are high, and you go through the door, you don't have to stoop. Portbou station doesn't resemble the small stations of other villages. The Portbou station has a touch of majesty and opulence, and the distribution of the platforms and of the countless rails is impressive, much like a labyrinth. The tracks create a flat and extensive sea, cross and intertwine. The detached train cars move on them without brakes. A grand vault of iron and glass covers the platforms and the Spanish tracks. It's difficult for the light of day to filter through the dome, and frightened birds fly from one side to the other. Below it, there's a gray building for customs, the station's offices, the entrance hall, the bar, and the apartments for the railroad workers. On the other side of the building are the platforms for the French trains and their tracks, which are narrower. The French trains end in Portbou, and the Spanish end in Cerbère. From the house, the sound of the trains is loud and clear. The grating of the brakes on the wheels, and the brusque jolt of the final movement of the trains upon entering the station, and the short whistle and puffing of those that are leaving. If you're late coming home in the evening, I listen. I sense a train has stopped at the first track, and I wait. After a bit, I hear you whistling at the top of the stairs. I open the door and burst out running. You're always waiting for me with your arms wide open, and you twirl me around. My mother takes me to the doctor. Doctor, this child has a lot of nervous tics. And the specialist gives us a prescription for blue pills. I have to take 6 each day for years and years. I go everywhere with those pills. On our way back on the train platform, she reads the prospectus. Look, do you see, she says to me, here it promises that these pills will change your character. And she's happy. I don't dare ask what kind of character I have that she optimistically sees the pills changing. You're waiting for us in the station and listen attentively to everything the doctor has said. You don't say a thing. Without a word, you look at me and kiss me. You love me and are unhappy, but I'm sure that you, for one, like my character. And you deal in contraband. When the church bells ring the Angelus, you stop working. Sometimes at the end of the school day, I see you coming up and we go home together. We have lunch right away. You catch the 1 o'clock train, and without a break, you start your second full-time job in Cerbère. And you deal in contraband. You take liqueur to Cerbère, coffee to Portbou. Every other day, you carry a kilo of coffee in your hand and another 1 or 2 hidden in your trousers at your waist, with the uppermost button undone and the belt tight. Our closets have the odor of coffee because the packages you bring are mixed in with our clothes. I see you as if you were here in the kitchen. You have just arrived in the evening, and without taking off your jacket, you undo your belt, roll up your shirt, and pull out the 2 kilo packages you're wearing over your undershirt. I catch them, press my face to them, and take in their odor. I fill my nostrils with that smell I love. You're a good man, simple, without secrets, affable, as is customary with those who have never had anything, nor have ever dreamed of having anything, happy with my mother, who likewise never had a dowry or an inheritance. My mother handles the money, performs little miracles so that nothing is lacking, and you trust her blindly, completely. She makes the decisions and consults you about them, and you approve them always. Everything suits you. My brother and I never hear you argue or raise your voices. You love each other like couples who are poor for always, in a magnanimous manner that is indeed enviable. In the summer, my brother and I come home from the beach famished. We sit at the table and have lunch. Afterwards, both of us withdraw to our bedrooms and read. To interest me, books have to be sad. I have to suffer reading them, empathize with this suffering, make it my own. I cry for the things that I read, but it's my own pain I'm crying about, a pain that, who knows, may be warning us of what afterwards all of us will feel. Everything causes extraordinary emotions in me. The smallest slight in love unsettles me and fills me with anxiety.